Test boosters are an interesting category because there are tried and true ingredients that you see in virtually every test booster, but there's a lot of ingredients out there emerging with new data. And so taking a look at raw tests is really interesting because there's actually a really great blend of tried and true ingredients with some new exciting ingredients that we haven't seen yet. So if you're interested in test boosters and you want to learn about some ingredients that we haven't talked about before, strap in and let's talk about raw test. Now Revive, Raw, these two sister brands are really well known for tried and true ingredients that you can trust, with also some new interesting stuff. We recently looked at Brain, and from Revive, we saw some new ingredients to nootropics, a similar category to testosterone boosters, where a lot of formulas look similar, but these brands bring something new. Raw test is pretty cool because you can easily see where the foundational ingredients are that we know will work, and then you can see some new interesting ones that we're excited to see how they affect, with a base of things like KSM 66, fenugreek, dim, boron. We see a lot of really heavy hitters, base ingredients that we know will absolutely work. But then we see new ingredients like Biroviron, which is a patent ingredient, Biroviron, and rosemary extract, leading to ursolic acids, which we're all excited to jump in and talk about. This really got me excited because test boosters are oftentimes repetitive and very similar to each other if you want to stick to just the tried and true backed ingredients. But more ballsy formulators will get out there and try some new ingredients, and that's exactly what we expect from raw. And so we'll get to the KSM 66, the fenugreek, the dim, the boron. We'll get all at the end. What we first have up in this ingredient panel that I really am excited to talk about are these new ingredients and what they can do for you that other products might not. Well, first we have that Biroviron at 1.65 grams, a big dosage for a capsule product. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, this ingredient relies a lot on animal data. This is what we often see with new novel ingredients, and we're hoping that it translates to actual humans. But what we did see in animals is very compelling. 4 major sections of data from animals show us different parts of what this ingredient can do. In one study, a hormone assay of testosterone, FSH, and LH all significantly increased dose dependent on this ingredient. The higher dose sections, the 2 higher ones, had incredibly well responded numbers to these. That's probably why they chose this high dosage here. In terms of sexual performance, they had way higher mounting frequency, lower mount latency, and reload time. Once again, these effects were dose dependent, so a higher dosage will most likely be better for this ingredient. Another dose dependent area was sperm motility and amount. As the dose went up, so did the motility and the amount of sperm. Lastly, body weight and testes were all measured as well. Testes got heavier as the dose was higher, and so did body weight, interestingly. Now, researchers theorize this was through the stimulation of gonadotropin, but this is really all conjecture until further data is produced. We do like the data that's there, and as an add-on to an already really solid, tried and true formula, I think this could be a really solid addition. Now, Biroviron extract at 6:1 is at 1 gram. This is also known as potency wood, so you can imagine what that means. Found in Brazil, it's been used in sexual tonics for some time, but it also has some cognition benefits as well. The oldest of the studies on this ingredient actually can't be found online, but it's referenced in some other studies, which I found kind of interesting of how long this ingredient's been around. Now, these were all self-reported, but libido was incredibly well improved with this ingredient. Self-reported increases in libido, sexuality, as well as satisfaction and ability to reach orgasm, which I realize these are all things that are kind of awkward to talk about in a testosterone booster, but all relevant to the topic, all increased. Another interesting topic to bring up on this, though, is its cognition benefits. It's actually a pretty powerful acetylcholinesterase inhibitor, similar to huperzine A you see in a lot of pre-workouts. Acetylcholine is the learning neurotransmitter, so prolonging the amount of life it has in the body is going to help with cognition a lot. So we've stimulated testosterone, FSH, LH. We've increased sexual effects, which are kind of related to testosterone, if not testosterone boosting itself. And with this rosemary leaf extract, we're standardizing for 50% ursolic acid. We're using 900 milligrams of it. We're actually looking for metabolic benefits here. I haven't seen any testosterone benefits specifically for ursolic acid, but it is one of the industry's most underrated recomposition ingredients, which is something that can be attributed to kind of what you're expecting out of a testosterone booster. When you take a testosterone booster, in my mind at least, you're expecting a couple different things: increased muscle mass, improved body composition, and sexual benefits that come along with the increased testosterone. This ursolic acid is obviously found heavily in rosemary leaf extracts, and it has a number of different benefits, including that composition benefit. It improves energy expenditure and fatty acid oxidation. It increases muscle strength. It decreases muscle breakdown and atrophy. It lowers blood sugar levels. It increases muscle mass. And lastly, general physical preparedness grows up. The meta-analysis that found all of these things looked over 17 different studies on the acid and also looked at some inflammation markers as well that were improved. Now, the primary mechanisms of action for this ingredient are going to be AMPK, which you're used to hearing about when we talk about anything with berberine, AKT, and IGF secretion. Now, IGF should be a pretty big buzzword if you're interested in bodybuilding or any sort of strength sports. It's a popular drug and it's something to be measured within the body. Short for insulin-like growth factor, which is extremely important in not just muscle mass increasing, but also preserving muscle mass during cuts. And so with those three ingredients, we start off a very powerful addition to an already strong, solid base of a testosterone booster. Worth noting on top of those was zinc. It was a zinc bicolonate, which is a rather light version of zinc. It's not a bad version like zinc oxide, but for users looking for a heavier zinc, maybe you look at OptiZinc from ReviveMD, their sister brand. This zinc here is going to work great. It's not the best in the world, but it is absolutely not low in bioavailability or a poor version of zinc. So onto the well-known ingredients here. With 600 milligrams of KSM-66, you're getting a whopping dosage of a 5% withanolide KSM-66. There's a lot of different ashwagandhas out there with different withanolide contents, but KSM-66 is probably the king in terms of different data points to present. It's been studied on everything from focus to cortisol to testosterone boosting and even power output. At 600 milligrams, you're going to get all the benefits, whether it's dealing with stress or it's increasing testosterone. KSM-66 can do pretty much everything, it seems sometimes. In 2019, we saw it added to almost every product on the market. It is a powerhouse of an ingredient. And if you're interested in learning more about it, we have a ton of different videos just getting into ashwagandha, let alone KSM-66. They follow that up with fenugreek, which makes sure that testosterone is not prematurely converted over to DHT, which can be a problem for a lot of people, especially us who lose our hair easily. Now, it's one of the most commonly seen ingredients in testosterone boosters, but unlike ones of old, like Tribulus, which only gave you side effects of having testosterone, like boosting libido, it actually does have blood work showing changes. So you'll see a lot of different things: increased testosterone, increased anabolism, enhanced strength and body composition, lowering of estrogen, although it's really kind of just lowering the conversion of testosterone to estrogen. In a case where you have high amounts of testosterone, it will look like you're having lower amounts of estrogen than you're used to because you're not converting as freely. Fenugreek is an awesome ingredient for these purposes. We're really happy that they put it in here. And it's also even great that they showed us 50% saponins extract. Now, rounding it on the end here, we also have DIM at 150 milligrams, which is a pretty hefty dose of DIM. Now, DIM is a really popular ingredient in these kinds of products because it helps deal with estrogen, kind of similar to fenugreek, but a little bit stronger. Off the bat, I want to make sure that I mention here, this is not an estrogen blocker. There's no case where you take this ingredient in a normal dosage and you tank your estrogen like you would if you're looking at estrogen controlling pharmaceuticals. That is not a problem here. This is going to help with the actual balance of estrogen in the body. DIM inhibits aromatase and 5-alpha reductase. Both are two big pathways from testosterone to estrogen as well as DHT. But what's also interesting is that DIM actually can improve the production of estradiol 2 hydroxylase, which is the good version of estrogen that our bodies do need. It's important to note here that people are often afraid of estrogen, at least men in bodybuilding and sports are, but estrogen is important for a lot of different bodily functions, and it even is anabolic in some ways. The goal should never be to completely eliminate estrogen. It's important to have in a healthy amount for men. It regulates a lot of sexual parts of their body, as well as blood pressure and a lot of different important things that are needed. If it's too low, you will be just as unhealthy as if it's too high. Lastly, we have boron citrate here at 10 milligrams, not to be confused with the Biroviron up top. Boron is an awesome ingredient for testosterone boosting for free testosterone that isn't seen often enough, although it is increasing in popularity. Boron is similar to a lot of these different ingredients, but put together. There was a study in 2011 where healthy males from 18 to 29, which is kind of interesting because they're not using old males, which is usually what's used to boost the numbers in these studies of testosterone boosting ingredients. They took a dose of boron every day for 6 days. So this wasn't a long-term study. This was a short-term study, and it happened very quickly, reducing estrogen levels without altering total androgen levels and increasing free testosterone. So overall, the users of the ingredients were in a better position going forward. And just like that, Raw Test shows that it has a great, strong base of tried and true ingredients with new ingredients with exciting data coming out and separates itself from the rest of the industry. Far too often we see testosterone boosters that look like all the rest of them, and there's nothing wrong with that from an efficacious standpoint because we know these long-term trusted ingredients help. But seeing some new ingredients in this product was really awesome to see and exciting for the category as a whole. I do have to say I got the product for free. We do have a business affiliate relationship with Raw and Revive. Big fans of the guys over there. They do some awesome things for the community. We're really proud to be partnered up with them. They do some awesome stuff as shown in raw tests and what they're able to do with new ingredients standing out from the rest of the community. If you have any questions about the product, feel free to comment below. I do check the comments. I'd love to help you understand the product some more, or if you want to know anything about the company, please let me know. As always, guys, I appreciate making this far in the video, and have a great day.
Welcome to PricePlow.